Okay. Now this is gonna be something quite a bit different this time. Where's my chat actually? I think my chat's fine actually. It should show up. It should be fine. Right. So yeah, this is we're gonna be doing art things today. Cause I haven't done like sketching and stuff like for a while, and I want to kind of go back into it. Like Big Brother was the one that suggested, Big Brother Mao was the one that suggested that maybe I should get back into some creative stuff. Maybe I could even do it on stream. I'll do a quick posture check. I think everything looks good. I'm gonna double check here. All right, so this is Pixel Art Academy Learn mode, and we're going to learn how to pixel art. So yeah, let's try. Let's give it a go. I got my stylus ready. Oh freaking! Whoops. That's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. I just like whacked my phone. I whacked my phone. Because I use my phone for tracking and oh gosh. I haven't perfected this setup quite yet. The problem is that my phone is like on a holder, and it's kind of close to my dominant hand, okay? And if I whack it with my hand, it's going to go crazy, the tracking. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often. I might need to reposition where I put my tracking in future, but yeah, I'm already starting later than I usually do. Jeez. Is this gonna work out? I don't know. It's like the first time that we've ever done anything like this. I feel like. Alright, gosh. Let's try it. Just very carefully. Not touch the phone. Aha. Right. I think we're good. Maybe. Kinda. Can it see me? My boom is kind of in the road as well. Yeah, the setup needs a little bit more work if you're not getting that impression. It's a little scuffed. We like scuffed here. Scuffed is okay on the my channel. It is in fact the only flavor available on this channel at present. But that's okay. Let's start a new game. Well, we're gonna be making art, but it's a game. Well, it's like an art learning application with some game-like elements, I believe. I hope there's not a lot of keyboard moments. My keyboard is your game will automatically saved. Will. Okay. I got to-dos. Oh freaking heck, I smacked my phone again! No! That's gonna keep happening, isn't it? Okay. I will. Let's fix the Dutch angle on the phone. Okay. Maybe I'm not positioned correctly. You know, posture check. Every time I whack my phone, I'm gonna need to do like a posture check. I feel like I'm covering like 50% of the screen, so that's not exactly practical. Maybe make myself a little smaller. I could do that. Let me turn myself a little bit there. Maybe do a bit of a posture check too. Okay. Let's try this one again. With less smashing of my phone. Okay. Goodness. I want to triple check everything's working okay, but everything looks good. I gotta check. I gotta check, you know? It's quiet. It's quiet out there in Twitch land today, but gotta check that we're actually live, but we are. We are. Alright. Okay. No more destroying a phone. Dude, like I'm getting tangled in cables as well. This is a mess. Alright, come on. To do, click here to read task instructions. This notepad will keep track of your current task. You can always click on a task to learn how to complete it. Click on the arrow to get back to tasks. Okay. Tutorials. Pixel art basics. Learn how to use the 1 pixel pencil. Learn how to use the most essential pixel art tool, a 1 pixel pencil. Okay. The posture check, it's still not right. I'm looking too far to the side. I could change the camera, I guess. I just can't change the camera a little bit like this. And I'm not like looking too far to the side. Let me go OBS back up. Okay. Dude, I just whacked my phone again. It's fine. Hello, Enjoy! Welcome to Pixel Art Learning with Rookie. We're learning. We're going to draw some Space Invaders. Okay. Click on the pencil to activate it. Use a pencil to fill the pixels with the dot in the middle. Okay. I think the game is starting off a little easy for me. You're making Space Invader. Here we go. There's the guy and his tentacles. Great. Go back to the portfolio to find a new sprite to draw. Alright, I aced that one. Eraser. As you can imagine, the eraser is great for removing extra pixels. Oh, we're still doing like Space Invader things. Okay. Okay, I picked the eraser. And what are we going to make? I guess it's going to be another Space Invaders guy, but we're making him by erasing. There's his eyes. Take away these parts. Oh. Dude, it's been a minute since I played Space Invaders. It's an old freaking game. Nice. Continue working through the rest of the sprites to continue the basic tutorial. I feel like I still gotta like reposition things a little bit. I think that's fine. Okay. Learn how to fill in a big area of color quickly. Oh, this is the cannon. The cannon at the bottom. 1978. Like, how many years ago is that? 22 takes you to 2000, and then it's 25. So 22 plus 25 is 47 years ago. Nearly 5 decades. Gaming is old. I pick this, and then I do that. You know, like, I'm good at this game. We're really good at this game. I'm sure it's gonna get harder as we continue. Up to my expertise level. Sometimes it's faster to fill too many pixels and then erase the extras. Okay. So we put in the middle, and we take away the white ones. Like this. Is that one different from the last one, or is that the same one? I can't tell. They look kind of similar. I mean, considering like it's monochrome, low resolution sprites, I'm sure there's not like a huge amount of variation available. When using the color fill, you have to watch for gaps in the outlines. Right, that's true of any art program, isn't it? We got to repair it first. We have to do this. And then you got to do that. Oh no, I missed one. I missed one. I missed that part. Look. Okay, try again. Yeah. That's the shield, isn't it? The shield from the Spike Invaders. Okay. Now that you know the 3 basic most essential tools, use them in unison to quickly complete the sprite. Yes. Okay, let's start with pencil. We put these parts with pencil. I will show my expertise by putting in the black areas like this. Oh, it's a UFO. I remember that guy. That guy gives you extra points if you kill him. The last time I played this game, it was in an arcade in the local cinema. They actually had a dedicated Space Invaders cabinet. Which is pretty cool, isn't it? You can press escape instead of pressing back arrow. Okay, that's helpful. Only slightly helpful because my keyboard is like all the way pushed into my desk, basically. An efficient pixel artist will learn the shortcut, speaking of keyboard, to switch between tools. E, pencil, brush, E, eraser, G, color fill. Okay, I'm looking at my keyboard here. So B is... That's good because they're all on like the left side, so I can use my dominant hand and also have my hand here. That's good, actually. So B, brush, E, eraser, and G, color fill gradient. Gradient. Okay. So I want to do this without like clicking the things. Okay, am I already with brush? No, I'm on eraser. B for brush. Oh, I shouldn't do that part. I use these parts. I use it for these parts. And then G for a gradient with... I'm not looking at the keyboard. I know where G is on the keyboard, okay? And then E for eraser. There you go. That's so much quicker. It's so much better. Alright. Look at all the guards. We got all the guards now. Reference images. Reference images be very important throughout your creative journey. To draw more accurate and believable images. Yes. What? What's this? Pink. What? Open the references tray? Oh, this thing up here? Oh. Grab the image to put it on your desk? Okay, okay, okay. Can I... I don't think I needed that many pinks. Let's erase it. Let's start again. Okay. B for brush. Okay. So, we're looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 along the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's the maximum width. Okay. So we want to go 5 up like this. We want to do that again. And again. And again, I guess. And on the 5th one, we go across, like here. color this one and we color that one. Okay, so far still good. And the next part of the brush is like here. And we connect like this. And then we go like this. You got to have diagonals. And then it just, we take it to the top. And we put the end on it. There you go. Oh. Complete the pixel art software challenge. Learn about switching tool. Pardon. Switching colors. Learn about helper tools. The pixel art software challenge. Okay, what's that then? The software challenge. Did we finish this part? Colors, helpers, challenge. Which one should we do first? Choose a sprite to copy. Make sure you're ready to complete pixel art drawing assignments. This requires you to copy an existing game sprite. Let's continue with the tutorials for now. Color swatches. Draw a sprite with multiple colors. You're going to draw a Pac-Man sprite. Okay. Oh, it's one of the ghosts, Inky Pinky, Inky Pinky, Blinky, Inky Blinky Pinky, and Clyde. I don't know which one this is. So this boy is a cyan boy, and it's probably efficient to do a color fill, right? Then we do an eraser. You have chosen an incorrect color. I disagree. Have I? No. I don't believe you're right. Like, hang on. You have chosen an incorrect color. Press the help button in the palette to explore different assistance options. Okay. I guess. Click to highlight incorrect colors and missing pixels once. Use the color swatches. I don't know, like, I don't think we need that. Like, I am 99% sure this is the same freaking color. Like, it is. Genuinely, why are you telling me why it's the wrong color? Because it's not the wrong color. Like, it's cyan, obviously. Okay. Weird. Let's just say that it's an early access game, guys. We gotta expect some kind of hiccup sometimes, but this is the right color, so I'm not gonna second guess myself anymore, even if the game wants to second guess me. And now we want white. It's empty. Okay. I thought maybe that a color picker would come up if I click the empty one. We put his eyes in like this. What the heck is that noise? That was kind of spooky. I'll show you wrong color, mister. Trying to pull. What are you trying to pull here? Okay. To switch between colors faster, pick them directly from the canvas with I. Oh, that's not good. That's on the other side of the keyboard. I gotta use my dominant hand for that, which is currently holding a pen, but it'd be better if it was a different shortcut guy, like on my left hand, but okay. You know, developers, you gotta You gotta stop developing applications that require one to have 3 hands, okay? Like, uh... I mean, I get it for, like, something as complicated as Blender, but for something as simple as a pixel art, drawing thing, you'd think that one hand's worth of shortcuts on the left side of the keyboard would be enough. And I do realize that, it's supposed to mimic, like, popular, you know, like popular, shortcuts and stuff. So maybe these are, like, standardized shortcuts for pixel art software, but why is it this way? No? Just put all the shortcuts on my left hand, okay? Okay, we make the cherry. Strawberry. Do we make strawberry? Do we collect the strawberry in Pac-Man? I remember cherry, but quick shortcut Alt option. Alt option. Learn how to quickly pick colors while using the pencil. Okay. I hold Alt. Oh, and it gives me eyedropper. That is kind of useful. What to think about this, guys? We're learning arts with Rookie. Rookie the Tanuki. I'm gonna be... What's it doing? Did it just switch tools? I could have sworn it switched tools for a second there. I don't know what I did. Odd. Only pick the leaf color. Radioactive green. I mean, I guess in, like, old style sprites, the priority is for it to stand out and be readable as whatever object it is. Learn about helper tools, okay. Helpers. Working on bigger images require you to zoom in and out to make drawing easier. Mouse scroll or control with plus or minus. That's terrible. Terrible, because I don't have easy access to any of these things. I'm using a stylus, like... Mouse scroll or command control with plus or minus. I wish I could change this shortcut, guys. Actually, I could probably configure this on my stylus. I could configure the shortcut on my stylus, couldn't I? Let me take a look at my stylus softwares. Okay. We're going to try to change the shortcuts on this. Okay, customize. If we can make this scroll up and the other one scroll down. Then we can use the shortcuts in a better way, an easier way. Okay. I'm gonna test that and see if that, like, makes sense, and if it doesn't, I'll reverse it. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that helped. Artwork from Outrun ZX Spectrum. Okay, this looks a little bit more advanced. A lot more advanced, actually. Okay. I think I will reverse those. Hang on, let me see. Yeah, that's like the opposite of what I would expect. Sometimes you gotta, like, test out your shortcuts before finalizing them. Let's put this one on scroll up. I think that will make more sense. Yeah, we zoom in. Oh, I just wait. Oh, tech. No, no, my phone. My phone. I whack my phone again. Dude. I hit my phone again. No. Okay, posture check time again. Let's do it. Please. Sir? Sir? Please. Why is it not working? Why is my posture check not working? Is it shift? It is shift. Okay, I thought it was alt. Okay. I'm not great at remembering shortcuts for things. Alright, we did a successful posture check. No more attacking my phone. Alright, let's try that again. Okay. Zoom in. Okay. So what do we do? We're working with black and white again. So I remember we use G for fill. And then B, no, E for eraser. Oh, I'm doing this part as well. Okay. Maybe I filled more than I needed to. Okay, this is a good size. I mean, get to work on this car. We're doing a bit of shading here, which is interesting. It's unfortunate that this program is super early access. I mean, there's obviously a lot of functional product in here, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And I'm told that at least the store page says that there's about 2 or 3 hours of gameplay on this. And that it focuses like 90% of it on like lines and stuff. At least that's the impression the Steam thing gave me. The Steam store page told me. So we're gonna learn about drawing objects with lines and diagonals and jaggies and stuff like that. And probably not so much about dithering, which is a concept for like shading in sprites and also in manga. At least when we're talking about like shading with traditional manga tone, I guess. I used to do a little bit of manga stuff, as in like traditional manga stuff. I'm not talking about like the adhesive sheets of manga tone. I didn't go quite that far, but I was using real ink and a traditional mangaka G pen, which was a lot of fun to use. It's a great feeling to use a tool like that compared to like other kinds of pens. All right, we good. Vroom vroom. Car finish. Oh, it's a good car. Look at that. All right, we got to learn about lines and jaggies and diagonals. Let's see. Learn how to quickly draw lines with the pencil tool. Okay. Select the pencil to start drawing as usual. Well, I know my shortcuts now. Click on the indicated pixel to start a new line. Hang on, let me zoom in. Enhance. Hold the shift key and click on the end pixel to place down the line. Oh, I see. Then that does simplify the whole jaggy process. Because the way I used to do it when I did like pixels, I did like pixel art before, is I would just like click. It's gonna make me sound like a crazy person. But I used to like click the individual pixels. Like, I'd be like, okay, I'm making a light here. I'll boop, 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 boop. Maybe I was a crazy person. But yeah, I don't know. I like, that's what I was doing. I don't know. Okay. Maybe whatever software I was using didn't have this function. I don't know. I don't remember. I was using like Android device and like one of those capacitive styluses, non-active styluses, to do my things. Yeah, this is a lot more efficient. Probably like doing curves. I don't know if they have a tool for curves that does this, but that would be cool too. Pixel art. Pixel art's a lot of fun. Now, how is this gonna work? No. No, 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 no. What the? Do I have to? I don't think that's gonna work, is it? That's not gonna work, is it? Look. The line, does the line start from here, maybe? Oh no! Oh no! I did not mean to do that. Where's my undo button? Where is my undo button? Are you kidding me? There's no undo? No! You're not allowed to undo on this lesson, Rookie. Freaking heck. I made a mess. How I do this? Let me try down here first. I start like this. And then I go here. And I start like this, and then I go here. And I can do this one too. This one's confusing. Okay, I think I'm just gonna do like the crazy person way. Just like, boop, boop, there we go. Oh, what an excellent looking ramp. What are we doing, hills now? When working on a bigger artwork, you need to move it around to focus on different details. Oh, that is terrible. Why would you put it on H? Listen, guys. Like, you're using either a mouse or your stylus on your right hand to drag around, but you can't do it unless you use your right hand to press H. Do people like genuinely use their left hand on all parts of the keyboard for these shortcuts? That seems insane to me. Why don't you just like put in shortcuts that make sense? I feel like I'm gonna say this a lot. Like, just put all the shortcuts on the left hand of the keyboard, dude. The left side. Never mind. I'm sure on other softwares I can customize it so that a person with two hands can do this. Hold down spacebar. Spacebar? I thought you said the H button. Oh, that's a lot better. Spacebar is a lot better. Why did you scare me and say H button? Don't scare me like that, game. Okay, what are we doing here? So we're working on the heels, I guess. We already got brush. We already got brush here. Let's start here and see if I can bring this across. Oh, I cannot be dealing with this crap right now. Okay. I'm just gonna have to remove that. Why I get so many of these losers? Okay. Let me just remove that. Oh, good. It removes it. It removes it from my chat instantly too. That's good. Okay. Now, where were we? Okay, that works out. Put one here. Go like this. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. I think I put in some extras. Somehow I put in some extras that shouldn't be there, so let's get rid of those. And now I use my shortcut mastering to move across like this. In this way. There we go. What? I don't like that noise. What is that noise? It sounds like someone's banging on my door or something. It's kind of disturbing. Okay. Is it shift? It is. What is with that noise? Is this like a horror game in disguise or what? It's not gonna work. What if I do it from here? I mean, I can do it like this, but sometimes it works out, other times it doesn't, because, you know, the original sprite wasn't drawn with these tools. Okay. So they omitted the top part of that there. They omitted that in order to, I guess, provide like a highlight, right? That's like a lighter area of the hill, so they removed the line. I don't see any other parts of the hill where they did that, though. Which is interesting. Okay. One of the biggest advantages of digital art is the ability to undo our actions. Shortcuts, Control Z, Control Y, Shift, Control Z, redo. Yeah, that's a very common art program. Well, in general, any program. Really. So those black squares, we're filling in the dithering pattern. This area of the dithering pattern. Okay. We got our brush here. This is just like full on like pointillism, I guess you would say. Just gonna boop all of these pixels. These diagonal parts, I could go like this though. Interesting. So, you could look at it like diagonal lines. So you get like a quick checkerboard pattern. You know, work smarter, not harder. That kind of philosophy really speaks to me. Oh, Control Z. There we go. What? Oh, I did it wrong again. Okay. I know there's only a few more parts to do here. These parts have like horizontal lines as well. So it would seem to me that the layering of these lines is what is doing the dithering, which is interesting because that's rather like cross-hatching, isn't it? It's rather like cross-hatching. You know? Like when you, with the pencil, you do like lines one direction, then you do lines another, and it gets darker the more you layer it in that way. Maybe that's the secret. Maybe Rookie is learning the secrets of pixel art dithering. Maybe. I hate that. Stop that. Forever. Never do that again. Can I turn it off? What is that? Okay. Can I go into the options and disable the ghost? Where's the ghost? Settings. Audio. Ambient? No. I don't know what those ambient noises are, but I hate it. Okay. So now the ghost is no longer active. That's good. Alright. Oh. Hang on. I'm just adjusting my phone a little. Tutorials completed. Challenges. One color or more? Let's go with multiple. I guess we'll start with a small one. Something else, I guess? I don't know. Why so many choices? Like, just do the thing. Other. I'm going to make the Staff of Moonlight. Okay. Okay. So now we got stencils too. Sir? Sir? What is that? Are you gonna tell me how to use this? Okay. No, 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 no. Hang on. Can I disable that? Oh, I see. I see. You want to make circle, you click the circle. You want to make square, you click the square. You want to make a straight line, you click the edge of the ruler. Let me get my reference up, okay? We bring up the... We bring up the... What is this? The Staff of Moonlight from the Waking Cloak. Okay. So I'm gonna, like, moving forward, I'm just going to assume that, the full resolution is like, what am I want to say here? The grid is the right size is what I'm going to assume. Interesting. What is this? Oh. So I can change the size of my brush. Alright. If I hold control, I can change the size of my brush. That's useful to know. So I'm not sure how many of these squares. I guess I could count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sir? Okay. Interesting how disabling that is what made the line work. Disabling the ruler made the line work, which is kind of odd, but I think this is the same. And then we got to make this go up like this. And then this one is like that, and then like this. And then we got the part where it connects with whatever that blue object is. Bell or something. We can do this part. And then it connects like in this way. And there we go. And I think we've done all of our lines. So let's start by coloring. And then there's 4 in here. Now we've got the darker brown here. There we go. That was pretty good. Oh, look, it's a Pico. I know what a Pico is. Play the game? Play the game? Now, the Pico is, something you can make. I think it's sort of related to, like, Raspberry Pi type things, where you can make your own games and stuff. Who knows? Eventually, maybe we could, produce some pixel stuff for the Pico. It's sort of like a... I want to say it's like a made-up, fantasy game console where you can, like, prototype your games, I guess. What am I looking for here? Okay. So, play the game. Press the button to start. Oh, we're playing Snake. This is gonna be terrible without, like, being able to use the keyboard. Can I use the keyboard? Oh, I can. Thank goodness for that. Continue. Oh, good. I can use the keyboard. Okay, we get it. We get it. The snake. Alright. So I guess we are gonna be doing snake sprites. What do you mean doing snake sprites? It's like a single green block repeated a few times. Isn't it? Wait. How do I go to drawing menu? Projects, okay. Snake game. Snake body. 1 unit of the snake body. Each foot piece the snake eats will add 1 of these. To make snake longer, I can make food as well. Okay, I guess we'll do the food first then. We can edit the food. Oh! We can make this snake eat something more delicious. Like a donut. Why don't we do a donut? Okay. We got to make the middle part empty. Because donut has hole in it. This is a good donut color. What was that? I didn't see anything on my chat thing. I don't know what that was. Sometimes it just kind of makes noise and I don't know why. Never mind. Okay, so this part is the middle. No, this is the wrong one. Okay. Maybe it looks a little bit undercooked though. I'm not sure. I might like it to be a little bit more in like this color. It looks kind of burnt actually, but burnt is probably better than raw, right? I kind of want to make it like this size, but it might end up being a bit of a thin donut. I'm not sure I'm communicating the roundness of the donut in an adequate manner, but what if I made this part like this? No. What was I thinking? I guess what I was thinking, I was gonna see if I could make it look, like this part was closer to us by making, like, this middle part less circular. Yeah, it just looks a little bit like there's not enough donut there. It's gotta be thicker. We got to make a thicker donut. Okay. Which means we're probably just gonna end up with a square hole, but let's face it, that does look better. This isn't dithered correctly. I don't think dithered is the right word. That looks more like a square. See, this is what separates, someone who knows how to do pixel art from someone who doesn't know how to make pixel art, is how to make things look circular with a limited amount of pixels. Not to put icing on the donut. It's a square. But if I go like this, it's gonna look more circular. Yeah, it looks okay. It's not super good, but it looks okay. Okay, we got donut. 1 unit of the snake body. Each food piece the snake eats will add 1 of these units to the snake to make it longer. Now, alright, so... this guy, he can connect in any way. Right? It's like, the guy can have, like, pieces connecting in all 4 directions, so it should, not sure what the right term is. But the texture should, like, wrap on all sides, I guess. We got 8 by 8 pixels. So 64. Okay. Let's start with a blank slate here. What I'm trying to say is, like, the pattern should make sense. It's like repeating. A hard one to make sense. If I do like diagonal stripes though, that should work out, I think. We have a stripy snake. Blue snake. Oh, I should use my shortcuts. So we gotta think, like, it's gonna connect at this side as well. Right? It's gonna come through here, it's gonna come through there. So it's gonna make sense on this side too. And then when this one comes out, it's gonna come out here. So we gotta continue it here. Right? We gotta make sure it's connected. This is what I was trying to describe earlier and failing. Right, like that. And that's gonna connect to... And that's not quite right. It should connect here. Okay. And that will come in here, and that will come in there. That goes there, that goes there. Alright. That's visually gonna work. Maybe. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. I guess we're only gonna know if I playtest it, right? I have to go to playtest it, then I will know. Shall we see the sprites in action? Alright. I click on this, and then we can play using Oh, the snake is transparent. I forgot to put other colors on it. Press the button. Okay, I will press the button. Get my cursor out the road for a sec. Okay, so the good news is the pattern works. As you can see, it connects in a way that is logical. The transparency of the snake is kind of unusual. I guess it's fine though. But yeah, I'm pleased that we nailed the pattern wrapping, the sprite wrapping, or whatever the actual term is. The guy is going faster now. What? Huh? Lion! No! Oh, heck. Welcome! Welcome in, Lloyd. How you doing? I was making sprites for this sort of snake game. My snake kind of turned out a little bit stripy and transparent for some reason. Learn about lines? Learn about lines? You can now play extra music. In the music app, you'll find some good DOS chip tunes from Extent of the Jam, as well as Schnapula's piano improvisations that take me straight back to the Sims build modes. Sure. Right. I just had a kind of a eureka moment. It seems like in this game they're kind of using chip tunes. Like, we're talking about MIDI music, aren't we? If we're talking about MIDI music, it occurs to me that fan-made like MIDI music is copyright free. I'm pretty sure. So if I wanted, I could put MIDI music in the background if I wanted to do like freeform pixel art things, and then there couldn't possibly ever be any copyright stuff because MIDI doesn't show up. Even if you do like MIDI track of like a popular song, it's its own composition and it shouldn't trigger any copyright, as far as I know. Extent of the Jam and Nebula. Music disc 1. Okay. Put it in. Alright, let's hear some of this music. Alright, let's keep the cassette player going. And, what was our next mission? We've got to learn about lines. Right. Play. Projects. Snake game? No. Tutorials. Elements of art. Line. The most straightforward lines. If you know your tools well, drawing them should be easy as shift clicking. Okay. So we got horizontal lines. We just doing horizontal lines right now? This should be easy. No, hang on. I pressed the wrong button. Oh. Vertical line. A diagonal line. Yeah. Alright, that was pretty simple. Curved lines are trickier and require more practice, but with pixel art, it's always easy to fix them. That is true. That's one of the reasons why I like pixel art so much, is there is a much smaller margin for error than in other forms of art. Well, no, we're done with this one. Curves. There are multiple ways to draw curve with pencil. The hardest but the most natural is click and drag along the line to complete it in one stroke. That is so hard. That is so hard, actually. There's no way that's gonna work, because I would have to do it like with 100% accuracy. It's probably gonna tell me what the alternative is. Don't worry if the line looks wobbly or uneven. If you will learn, you will learn how to clean it up in the future. For now, try a method that will ensure 1 pixel width. Click on the starting point, press and hold shift, click along the line in small increments to draw a curve out of many straight segments. Okay, that's an approach that I was not aware of. So I go like this, and then I go like that. So this results in a more accurate one. Right, yeah, that's better. Yeah. Okay, I'm learning stuff. Okay, that looks good. The final technique is the slowest but offers the most control. Zoom in and click on the pixels that line most clearly crosses. Right, this is the stuff that I usually, when I did pixel art, I would do this the most, is just like literally click the boxes. I'm getting weight on the lines as well. Most clearly crosses, so am I not supposed to be adding weight to the lines? Maybe I'm not supposed to be doing that. Oh heck. Oh heck, no! Hang on. I don't think I'm supposed to be adding weight. I'm supposed to be adding to the most clearly crosses. So we're ignoring that one because it's barely in it. And I guess this one is more. If we want to have 1 pixel width and not have weight to the lines, then we have to cut some of it out and ignore some of it. Complete the final curve in whatever way you prefer. Well, this guy is very curvy, so I think the last method is probably the best way. I could do like this though for that one. And then like that for that one. This section is all straight though, more or less. I'm just better off like clicking these ones, I think, because we're getting very curvy towards the end of this. Alright. You did it! And don't worry if you're not happy with the look yet. You will learn the rules behind pixel art curves soon. Lines often change direction in corners to create more complex designs. Wait, what? You want me to, No, no. Undo, undo. No. Huh? Oh, the freaking configuration tool is coming up for my pen for some reason. Let me close that. Okay. I click this. I do like that, and I do like this. Easy. I do like that. I do like this. Easy. I scroll down. Okay, pretty simple so far. Beautiful. Okay, so we got a curve one. It's mostly in here, I think. I'm not sure which one of these methods provides the most accurate results, but I guess we'll learn about that kind of stuff later on. I'm sure it's not like, one approach fits all situations. I'm sure with experience you'll come to realize which approach is better in which situation. To me, this just looks like it'd be very complicated to do with some of the other methods, so I'm gonna just do this manually. Okay, that looks right. So you can do like hard objects with like sharp angles very quickly with the shift method. Even though you didn't realize it, you've been practicing drawing broken lines all your life when writing. Broken lines? What is a broken line? Two. I've never actually heard that term before. I'm listening to the music, I'm like, am I going to identify any of these MIDI tracks, or are they fully like original and not actually featured in the game? So I'm guessing this is gonna be 4. My Tanuki mathematics skills tell me this. And this is 5. You still haven't explained to me what broken lines are. I'm a little confused. Okay. What do we do? What was that? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Apparently we just did broken lines. The 5 doesn't look quite right, does it? Yeah, that looks clever. If you join lines together, you can draw outlines of objects. Okay. I'm not sure if I'm following, but open the reference tray and choose the object you want to draw. I can draw apple, I can draw orange, I can draw banana. The choice is clear. Banana milk. Okay. So let's see, gamers. How are we going to approach this? Banana. Banana. We like banana milk here on Ricky's channel. Right. See, this is the problem. We have to make this look kind of sharp using like 4 squares. So I'm thinking that we do it like this, even though this probably has a majority. See, this is where the the details comes in, because the devil is in the details, as they say. And how the whole thing becomes a bit more subjective. I realize it's a bit weird for this part to, like, touch, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I could make this part look more sharp if I deleted this part. And then went like this. I think that might look better overall. Okay, this part should look kind of like blunt at the end of it. You know what? This is looking like a pretty good banana. That's a pretty good banana, isn't it? No, says the game. Incorrect banana. No, I disagree, Rookie. This is incorrect banana. And I know why, too. I know why. I know why the game thinks my banana is incorrect. It's because, look. I was using too much artistic license. I wanted to go like this to make it look sharper, but... No, incorrect. Okay. Maybe just ease up on the clear requirements on that one. It still looks okay. Some object can be drawn in a more stylized way. Oh, tell me. Okay. Right. Yeah, we're gonna have to, because this guy is kind of complicated. So we're gonna do, some of these Sonic the Hedgehog plants. I'm pretty sure, like, the Sonic games had these kind of plants in them. These kind of trees. Wait, you call these a palm tree, don't you? We don't have palm trees in space, so... Okay. I gotta think about, like, what kinds of projects I want to do in pixel art. Because, I do want to do some pixel art things in the future. I don't know, like, I think I already talked about this in the Discord. I was gonna say, like, I don't know how much of this I want to reveal, but I think I've been openly talking about it on the Discord at some point. It's probably not good to talk about, like, major projects until, like, I have something to show for it. That's kind of a bad habit. Yeah, pixel art will be involved. As will low poly modeling. Who knows, maybe I'll do some of this stuff on stream, and you'll see what it is that Rookie's talking about. If I can, wrap my head around the program. Getting to grips with the program I'm using. I think the line tools are less important when you're, like, tracing an image like this. more important when you're, you know, working on stuff. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Doesn't it look pretty good? Yeah, it does. Lines are also used to draw the internal edges of objects. Internal edges of objects. What's this mean? What are we drawing? The internal edges. Sir, hang on. I want to see what my options are. Cube. I guess that guy would be an easier than the plant. The internal object. Internal... Okay, let's maybe apply ourselves a little bit more. We're not going to draw literally a box. Okay. Draw the object by combining straight, curved, and broken lines. I will. Okay, how long you guys think this game has been in development? Been in development for a surprising amount of time. Been in development for like 10 years. I think they recently had their 10-year development anniversary. Oh, interesting. I can enlarge my references. That's good. That's one thing I do like in my art programs, is to have a nice, good way of handling reference images, because it's important. Because Lil Rookie is not an expert in freaking anatomy and will never be. I don't care that much, frankly. I mean, sure, you can go to art school and you can do like life drawing for like 30 years and become a literal master at drawing the human form. Or you can just use reference instead of memorizing every single muscle group from every angle. You could just use reference. You know what I mean? I think I'll do that one. Cause life's too short, dude. Frankly. No, that's not gonna do. That's not gonna work for me. Please, there we go. I think that looks decent. So the inner edges, I guess we're talking about things in the foreground here, I suppose. I already don't know what I'm looking at here. Like, is this in front or is that in front? I'm honestly not sure. Curved and broken lines. Sir, you haven't explained to me what a broken line is. I'm still not clear on what one of those even is. It wasn't explained. Broken line. Like, to me, a broken line is a line that has a gap in it. Right? That's what a broken line is. As far as I know. There's some rock and mini stuff going on right now. It's on almost like Comic Zone. I guess it looks okay. I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at, but I guess it looks okay. Alright. I'm going to skip this part because there's barely any lines in it. And we'll skip this part on the other side too, so it looks like it makes sense. Put two vertical there. Bring this across. Yeah, that makes sense. Then bring it up like here. There we go, that looks good. That's a nice curve. Bring it down a little bit more. This one, it's important to make this one symmetrical because it is literally a symmetrical item that we are taking reference from. I'm gonna put it here. Okay. Yeah, that works out. Okay. That's good. And then like this. And then like this. Yeah. That looks good. Still don't know what a broken line is, but I'm still doing the thing. I'm still passing the lessons. We can arrange lines into patterns to indicate details, texture, or shading. Okay. Lines into patterns? Oh gosh, okay. How the heck am I gonna do this? I gotta like take a close look here to see what the lines are representing. Not clear to me currently. We put them side by side like this, and I zoom in. Maybe move this guy over a bit. And I zoom in. So this line is full. It's closest to the sun, so I guess the line represents the light. And then the brokenness is the parts where the light isn't. I mean, I guess I kind of see it. I feel like this is more interpreting the image than taking reference from it, like in a more direct sense. Like, this is supposed to be light. And this is, like, instances of light that is interrupted by shadow. And it's only just sort of, like, loosely inspired by the shape that the light is making. We're not, like, directly copying anything. It's just sort of, like, it kind of looks sort of like this, kind of. I get it. Okay. Learn about shapes, learn about lines and pixel art. We will learn about lines and pixel art. Let's do it. Elements of art shape. To start learning how to draw, you only need to be able to draw 3 basic shapes. Okay, this is gonna start getting more complicated, isn't it? We want to draw square, so I click on this. Sir? I was trying to... Yeah, I was trying to do this. Oh, you gotta hold it like that. Okay. Oh, wrong tool. There we go. You said I only gotta draw 3 kinds of shapes. Are we for real here? Wait a minute. Oh no! That's problematic. I don't know why this happens. My tablet's not working! No! No, tablet not working anymore. I'm using my mouse now. Can I bring up my tablet software and fix this? Why? Why? Why not working? And settings. I know it's not out of battery because it does this. Usually I have to like restart my computer Dude, this is so annoying. Oh my god. There's not much I can do about that. There's no... Yeah. Okay. You know, it would seem that we're no longer using the stylus or the pen tablet, so... Smacks my microphone and my phone. Okay. So because the stylus is no longer working, we're gonna be using the mouse now. Which doesn't matter all that much. It really doesn't matter all that much. No. Dude, I had 3 Diet Colas today, and I'm still Ipitanaki. Okay. I mean, I could see myself doing pixel art this way as well. I'm 1000% needing a posture check, aren't I? I'm looking away far too much. I don't know. Use the ruler or pencil to draw the 3 most basic shape. Yeah, I get it. So to do the circle correctly, I'm gonna need to pull it from here and here, I think. Yeah. Wonderful. Many objects can be created from the basic shapes. That is very true. Very true. When I was doing like characters and stuff, I would use like shapes like this. Okay, so it's gonna be from here and here. There we go. And this one's gonna be from here and here. What are we making? Hmm. Draw the indicated shapes to construct simple objects. I guess I use my regular brush for this. Dude, I don't know why I'm so EP suddenly, jeez. Okay, let's see. Get this down here. Oh, that ain't right. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the way that I've done that. Cause, like, usually a rule that I follow when I'm doing curves is, like, when I'm... Oh, how do I even articulate this sentence? When I'm moving along an axis... Alright, okay. I gotta break this down. So, when I'm doing like a curve here, and I'm moving to the right, and I'm moving down. So this is one axis, this is another axis. So I want to be moving down one, right one, if I want to do perfect diagonals. And then, if you want to make it look like it's more gradual, then you do like one more in a specific axis. So this time it's going to be down 2 and right 1. And then I want to do it so it's like in ascending order, I guess. Usually, I don't know if that's correct or not, but I don't like it when there's one that's like 5 and then 4, unless we consider that a 5 as well, because it's going off like this. But yeah, we can say that's a 5 and that's a 5 too. So I'm doing a 3 here, and a 2 here. No, that's a 3 as well. And then I can do a 2 here, and then we're down to 1, so like perfectly diagonal. And then we're going back in the other direction onto 2s, and then we're going to be back on like 2, and then this will be a 3 or more. That's fine, that's fine. That's curving in 2 different directions. But yeah, I know something about pixel art. I just don't. I haven't like done any courses in pixel art. I just sort of did it and sort of did it my own way, I guess. Pine tree. Oh, that's a tree. That's what that is. Gotcha. I guess it would look more convincing if it was properly colored. I'm concerned. Genuinely. I'm a little concerned if my drawing tablet is going to cut out in the middle of stream. Because if I'm doing like a longer art stream, then what am I going to do when my tablet just quits on me? It's okay now because we're doing like pixel art stuff and it's not like super matters, but even when I'm doing pixel art stuff, if I have like a workflow and my guy just stops working, that's a problem. I mean, I do have an alternative. I do have another tablet that I can use. But this is one of those, fancy tablet monitors, so it is, like, preferable to use this one. But yeah, I think I might have to, like, test the, you know, one of those metal graphics tablets and see if that's gonna crash any less. That's the only, like, serious downside to, like, running, like, Linux is, like, when it comes to, like, hardware compatibility. Oh, hang on. When it comes to hardware compatibility, yeah, it's a little spotty, to say the least. You're either relying on manufacturers that have incentives to not make things compatible with Linux. You know, maybe Windows pays them more. let's not imply that. Let's not imply that, even if it is the truth. But yeah, let's say they have certain incentives to make things work better with the more dominant computer operating systems. Not to mention that the user base is like bigger, but you get some companies that do support like Linux, like XP Pen, for instance. I like using their graphics tablets. Not sponsored, but yeah, their compatibility is usually quite good. I'm surprised that this guy is having issues, and I thought about maybe checking the battery of the pen before I started streaming, but I never got around to it. But in my experience, it just kind of starts working again as soon as I restart my computer, but obviously that's not a practical thing to do during a stream. What am I making here? Is it a pagoda? Temple. Okay. I guess I did have the right idea. I don't need to select the box for this. I can just do straight lines. Oh, heck. Okay. Okay. Nice. So we got Lookout Tower, Temple, House, Palm Tree, Pine Tree, and Tree Tree. Woo. Transform basic shapes. Basic shapes will not always appear in your default orientation. Welcome, wait for a call. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're the fluffy boy. Yeah, the fluffy boy is here. Hello, hello, hello. Doing a little bit of pixel art learning. Your default orientation. Okay. Transformed basic shapes. So we're starting with the same basic shapes. You got to make different things with these same shapes. Start with the box. I put it like this. Back to brush tool. Oh no, I made it too big. I made my brush smaller. No, 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 like this. There, there. Okay. I'd like my guy to look a little bit more pointier, but I guess that's fine. Okay. I've done plenty circles. Let's see. Well, we gotta take it from here and here. Okay. You might have to resize shapes horizontally or vertically and use rectangles and ellipses. If you want to make a cat's body, maybe. You wanna make a kitty. Maybe stop doing oval like that. So I think it's here. No, here. You might have to resize shapes horizontally or vertically and use rectangles and ellipses. Like, are we talking about actual transformation tools or what? Should I be like copying these across and using transformation tools? I'm assuming not because it hasn't introduced me to any of those yet. Okay, so now we're rotating. So are we doing transformation tools or am I doing these by hand? Sometimes you'll even need to rotate shapes. The rectangle and ellipse tools won't help much here. Right. You know, like some pixel art applications do have rotation. Oh goodness. Gonna remember to hold down shift. Okay, how are we gonna do this then? Make this one 5 long. Because we do want to maintain our 1 thick. We haven't talked about line thickness. Which is actually kind of surprising. That we're this far into it and we haven't talked about line thickness quite yet. See, now we're on... We've done like 3 when we went into 2 and now we're doing 1s. And then we're doing a 2 in the other direction. See, this makes the most sense to me. This makes the most sense to me when we're doing this. And then we're back on 3. We're doing vertical 3. 3 on the other axis. Start this curve. Kind of alongside here. We're on 3 here. We'll ignore this part and go on to 2s. And then we're on 1. And we're going up again. Sir? I'm not finished. I'm not finished, but okay. So just put that in like there. Finally, the shapes can be skewed in various ways, often to achieve the effect of perspective. The way that this is being phrased to me makes it sound that they're talking about transformation tools, but there aren't any. I'm not sure what the guy is getting at. Oh, that's a 4. I'll put a 5 in here, and then we're back on 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1. A very neat, curve. Okay, I guess we did it. So this is not a trapezoid, it is a skewed square, okay? Gosh, I drew all of those shapes. When drawing a scene, you can start by simplifying its objects to basic shapes. Right. I mean, this is true of all kinds of drawing, isn't it? Open the reference tray. Okay, I will. Let's zoom in a bit. What do we got here? Oh gosh. This is quite a step up from what we've been doing, hasn't it? I think I'll start with this one. Oh, are you just gonna show me the lines? You don't need to do this. I could tackle this without like the guidelines. Might be a little bit tricky, but I could do it. Yeah, I guess it's just gonna show me. It's just gonna show me as an example. I mean, we can do like, what would you call this, composition? It's composing from an image or interpreting an image and representing it with like these shapes. Yeah, I feel like I could have done a decent job with this on my own, but it's fine. It's just for practice. Let me... Well, what are the hotkeys for the shapes? Oh no. You know, one of the coolest pieces of software that I've used for this kind of stuff was actually on Nintendo DS. Can you guys out here like use WarioWare DIY? Anyone remember that? It was it was a game where you made your own like pixel art and stuff. You could make your own sprites in it, and then you would make your own micro games using the sprites, and you could make your own music too. I'm like way off the screen. What the heck? Let me bring myself in a little bit more. But yeah, it's super cool. There's other like programs out there that are apparently in the same kind of spiritual place as WarioWare DIY. And I believe the Pico that we touched on earlier is perhaps one of those things. So in terms of like next steps of educating myself in the ways of the sprites things, maybe Pico stuff would be a good one. Or maybe there's some books I could get educate me further on pixel art. So this guy is just a straight line. Yeah, this probably would have taken me a lot longer if I had to work this stuff out by myself, but I could have done it. Whoops. I'm kind of curious about if there's pixel sketching games on Steam or whatever, or like pixel coloring games. I'm sure there probably is. For the project that I was hinting at earlier, it's not going to be like 100% like sprite stuff. There's a little bit more to it than that. Like there's some low poly model stuff involved. It's kind of like hard to describe. If you guys, dude, I don't want to reveal too much about that. I do kind of want to have surprises for you guys, but we'll see. If I start doing more creative stuff, then I do it more often, then I'll have more to show you guys instead of just talking about stuff. Talking about projects that might happen, I could show you. I gotta do more. And stop procrastinating. So this is a good first step though, isn't it? I want to know, like, what's important for me is I have to learn good techniques for representing anime art in pixel art form. Because your boy is an anime boy, okay? I'm a little bit on the anime side. Oh yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for 500 followers. Thank you. And welcome in, that Roth. Yeah, we're just sort of having a chill art day, and I'm learning how to pixel art and stuff. Elements of art shape. What's this one? Basic shapes form the base for creating more complex shapes and adding detail. Okay. Tell me. What are we gonna be? Oh, goodness. I think I was on the money with the pagoda earlier, wasn't I? And that's like... That's an entirely different kind of architecture. I want to say like what that looks like, what kind of architecture that looks like, but I don't want to embarrass myself. Is that like look, Italy? Are we in Italy right now? Is that Italian? Is that Italian architecture? Am I on the money? Or if I just look dumb? If I look dumb on the internet, we're not knowing what Italian architecture looks like. I think this is Italian. Okay. Let's draw some Italian architecture in pixel art form. Draw the indicated shapes to construct the scene from reference. Okay. Do what you're told, Rookie. You're not experienced enough yet to be let loose on this image. You got to be told how to do it. That's fine. Okay. Start with the horizon line. I'm a very creative guy, actually. Like, it's something in life. I don't know if this is gonna make any sense to you guys, but if you're a creative person, it's not like a choice. It's not like a conscious choice. If you want, you can like resist it. Like say, I'm finished with drawing forever. I give up on drawing forever. But it just doesn't work that way. eventually you're gonna have to like succumb to the scratching in the back of your mind that's telling you, oh, you got to draw something, you got to do something, you got an idea, you got to do something. And eventually we all come back to one form of art or another. My trouble is that I have trouble like settling on one style or one form of art, and also sticking with it. I struggle with that too. Probably the longest time I was a creative, I guess I drew for a long time, but I stuck with Blender for a while as well. I did a lot of Blender stuff, which would have been super useful for when I became a YouTuber just a little while later. If I was still into Blender, yeah, that would have been pretty good. But the thing was that I have a bit of a weird workflow, which is probably why I would be an absolute nightmare to work with if I was in a creative team or something. I work in a kind of unusual way, I guess, is what I want to say. I think that's just from not having any formal, or not having a lot of formal education when it comes to creative stuff, is you just kind of work in your own way, and that's not always compatible with the way that others work. Makes collaborating harder. And also, when I say that I was working with Blender for a long time, it's probably more accurate to say that I was working on a single project in Blender for a long time. I was obsessing over one particular model that I was making. I was making a robot, and I started by making like an SVG file. Is there any graphic designers out there? If there's any graphic designers in the audience, you'll know what an SVG file is. It's a scalable vector graphic, and it's different from like bitmaps and most other forms of saved graphical data, because in a bitmap it remembers. Okay, let me try to illustrate this. Okay, so in a bitmap, it's going to record the location, the coordinates, the actual coordinates of every single one of these squares, okay? So, you know, it's gonna remember that this is 4, like from here it's like 4, 1. Or like 1, 4. The first row, the fourth pillar, you know? Like, it remembers 4, 1 has a value of black. However it describes what black is. And it records like all the empty space as well. And if there's any other colors in there, it will remember the location of literally every single possible location where there could be color. It records what's in every single pixel. That's how bitmap works. It might strike you as being not particularly efficient, and you would be right. You would be right. That's why bitmap files are so big. They are not very efficient. So when it comes to SVG files are better. Well, you know, better is a strong word, because, you know, different kinds of files are better for different kinds of stuffs, but SVG files are different in the sense that they do not remember every single pixel. They describe a shape. right? And the way they describe a shape is they will remember here and here, okay? Let me get my eraser. They're gonna remember the corners, right? This is what we're remembering in SVG file. It would remember these parts too. So an SVG file sees points, okay? So it remembers this guy, and it remembers that this guy is connected to this guy. All right, so it remembers these 2 points and remembers that they are connected. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference compared to the BMP because it's like a short distance. But if it's like a huge distance, if there was like a point all the way over here, the bitmap would have to remember and record every single pixel. But with an SVG, it's remembering this part, and the fact that they're connected. And yeah, that's how SVG files work. They are just so much more efficient in terms of space. It remembers 2 positions and the fact that there's a line between them. It can get a little bit more complicated when it comes to like curves and stuff. Like SVGs can record curve information too, which is kind of cool actually if you think about it. Like it can, if I do like 2 points here, and if I'm drawing like a banana or something, let's do a curve. We're gonna do on 2 and then on 1, and then on 1, and then we'll do a 2, maybe a 3 actually, or 4, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know, we've got a curve here. So on bitmap, in bitmaps, it would be recording every single square within this rectangle. Bitmap would record all of that information, the exact location of every pixel. But with the SVGs, it would just remember this is connected to this, but would also record data which tells it mathematically how to draw the line. And Rookie is not smart enough to describe or articulate how it does this, but trust me, it does. It knows how to draw the line. It knows, I don't know how it knows, but it knows. Okay? Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it can record curves in the same way. Just, yeah. Anyway, just a little bit of an aside there on what an SVG file is. But yeah, they're cool. So yeah, when I was doing Blender stuff, when I was working in this Blender model, I started with SVG files because the whole gimmick with it is, well, it's called scalable vector graphic. The vector is what describes the way of recording the information, the data, the points and being connected. That's called a vector. The line itself is called a vector. Vector style versus pixel style, right? Recording lines, not pixels, is what vectors describe. Scalable means that, well, if you want to think about it, think about like when you're messing with the scaling on a bitmap image. Imagine you're gonna make it like super small, and then you make it super big again, okay? What happens to it? It gets all blurry, doesn't it? It gets super blurry and ugly because, well, computer doesn't quite know how to make it look good. Like, I don't know exactly why it gets all fuzzy, but it does. It does. We all know this. But with scalable vector graphics, because they're recording lines, we're not actually making things bigger or smaller. we're just sort of affecting the scope of the line, and it's being redrawn. Does that make any sense? I'm not sure if that makes any sense. We're telling the computer, do the exact same thing, do the exact same drawing again, but make it bigger. Right? I think I'm being articulate here. I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's being drawn fresh. It's being drawn fresh for you by the computer. And that's why it doesn't come out blurry. And that's why it's super, super useful in some situations where you have like a... when you're working with very large signs, for instance. Like, you might be like in a printing company and you need to make like a sign to go on the side of a building or a billboard or something. And your asset is like A4 page sized or something, and you got to scale it up. If it's a bitmap image, forget about it. Imagine how that would look, right? You got an A4 picture of a cat, and then you try to scale it up onto a billboard. That would look super scuffed. But if the cat is like a cartoon and it's an SVG file, it would look absolutely immaculate, perfect, mathematically perfect, identical to how it looked on the A4 page. So that's why we use SVGs, and that's why I selected SVGs as a way to make schematics for my robot that I intended to make into a model. I wanted it to be scalable, and I also wanted it to be to scale. Because in Blender, you can kind of modify the unit so that you're working with real life scaling. So I decided to make my robot like life sized in the SVG. And I believe everything was accurate to like 1/10 of a millimeter in my robot design. Because I was super... what's the word? It's not pedantic. It's not particular either, but you know what I mean. I was kind of obsessed with detail. Meticulous? Yes, meticulous is the word. I was ultra meticulous when it came to like the accuracy of my design of this robot. Yeah, 1/10 of a millimeter. That's kind of obsessive, isn't it? A little bit. I mean, I was having fun. I was having fun making my robot. And I spent like 3 years doing that. Making that robot as perfect and as to scale as possible. And I'm pretty proud of how it looks. But it's still not good. It's unfortunate because my way of creating things is just it's not compatible with Blender. I realized that I don't think I'm gonna make it as a Blender guy, because well, certainly not if I work in the way that I did. Being like all meticulous and worrying about like the shape and the scale of everything obsessively. There's a lot of concerns that you have to have in mind when you're making a Blender model. And one of those is having like the right like quad what do you call it again? Topology? Quad topology, which is how do I describe quad topology? It's if you want to imagine like a mesh or a grid, like, you know, the grid that I'm looking at right now, if you want to imagine like draping that over a physical object, you've seen a wireframe before. You know what a wireframe is. That's topology. It's like the way that the polygons, each square is a polygon. It's the way that the polygons are arranged on the object. And you got to do it in such a way that it's efficient use of squares or use of polygons. It's got to be descriptive of the object, and you got to not use too many squares. And you got to make sure that the corners of the squares are like, there's a lot of rules. There's a very large amount of rules if you want to have perfect topology, and it's kind of a nightmare. I mean, if you get used to it, then probably it's second nature. But that's what the problem was. I spent like 3 years making this robot, and it wasn't practical in the slightest. Right? The topology was amateur, because that wasn't my priority. My priority was accuracy, and there was probably too many polygons in it. Because again, accuracy was my, I wanted to be accurate to my SVG sketches, you know? Accurate to a 10th of a millimeter. Obsessive, okay? And I ended up with a model that looked very accurate. And in terms of like, I don't know, a sculpture? That's what I would call it. It was basically a sculpture because it's of no practical use to anyone. It can never move. Even though it's a robot, it can't really ever move in Blender because it's just, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It's not designed in an intelligent or practical way. It's just designed for the looks. So I ended up with a model that was quite nice to look at and like nothing else. It would have been nice to actually use that model for something. But I just had my heart set on, I was just like laser focused on finish this thing that I started. And I don't even think that I learned very much. Like, I mean, come on, like, how do you spend 3 years on Blender, like, using Blender every day, and you don't learn? I just don't feel like I learned much. I think I would have been a lot better served if I was, paying more attention to the practicality of my techniques, but I don't know if that's the way that I think when it comes to art stuff. I've never been a particularly technical drawer. Okay. What? Are you serious? Oh, wait. I know what you're trying to tell me. I think I know. I think some of this has got to do with, like, I don't remember what the term is, but it's like obscuring, what's obscuring what? Like, there's a term for this. I don't remember what it is. Dude. Basically, it's asking me to erase the things which are behind. Occlusion. Occlusion is the word. The objects in front occlude the ones in back. Right. And from that, the thing looks better. The tree looks more like a tree. Hope you guys are having a nice day out on your planet, doing things that Earthlings do on planet Earth. How is weather down on planet Earth, I wonder? I hear that is becoming fall. So named because the leaves fall in the fall. What am I even talking about? Small talk is difficult. You actually forgot that today is Wednesday? Yeah. We can't be on the ball all the time. I don't know what this is about, though. I don't know why I'm being asked to alter this tree, to be honest. My tree was perfectly fine. Why you not like my tree, game? I think it's being a little bit pedantic with me with this tree. There's got to be a little room for artistic expression here. G-game, I don't know. I kind of liked my tree better before you altered it. Sorry. Okay. Alright, more occlusion stuff. But yeah. I couldn't use that model because it would require, it requires rigging. Like, rigging. You guys heard of rigging? Rigging would be the next step for that model. She is, like, 90% done. I think I was on her hair. I didn't really know how to make hair in Blender. But yeah, that's when everything falls apart, basically. Rigging is a very difficult part of doing Blender stuff. It's not something that I've really dedicated any time to learning. I never quite got that far when it came to trying to learn Blender. It is monumentally difficult to learn to become a good rigger. To the point where, like, even excellent modelers will commission a rigger, right? To finish their model. Because it's just like, it's an entirely different, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different ball game. It's I think it involves like something called weight painting, where you kind of like paint your model different colors to represent the amount of movement that is expected of each individual polygon and vertex. Like, the polygons are the squares and the vertices are the corners of the squares. So you have to tell the computer, okay, this part should move more than this part. And this square, or this vertex, should move more than this vertex. And I'm sure there's an array of like a million different rules about how you should do this in a way that looks natural, that the master riggers know and everyone else is not privy to. Like, when it comes to like human figures, I'm sure it has a lot to do with anatomy and like muscle groups and stuff. You probably want to weight paint areas of the human body that correspond with different muscle groups and stuff, probably. But yeah, in order to properly weight paint and rig your model, you need to have good topology, because if your topology looks like a freaking dog's dinner, then your rigging is going to look like trash, even if you're a god at rigging. The foundation of everything is modeling. Bad modeling, bad model. And my model just had... I mean, yeah, I was trying a little bit, I guess, to kind of make the topology sane. But, you know, it's too high vertices. And the more vertices and quads that are in your model, the longer it's going to take to rig, I would imagine. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That project is finished. That's just a different major project I involved myself with. This is turning into quite a nice image, but it's not my art. We're kind of just copying this for the sake of practice. And there is value in that, certainly. I used to do, when I was learning how to do manga stuff, I had so much fun. Like, what I used to do is, I had like the digital version of Hunter x Hunter, right? You guys know Hunter x Hunter? With Gon and Killua. I would have the manga, and I would basically, I would get my ink and my G-pen and my sketchbook, and I would replicate, like, completely, to the best of my ability, I would reproduce the manga, like a given cell in the manga, and I wasn't tracing or anything. I was just using close reference, looking at the characters and looking at the scene very closely and trying to reproduce the techniques that the real mangaka master was using to produce the effects and stuff. It was a lot challenging during like action scenes and stuff, because you would have like, you know, big, confident, streaky lines, dynamic flowing lines with, oh my god, eyes were super hard. Eyes were so hard because working with ink, there's a lot of reasons why working with a G-pen and real ink is so interesting to me. But one of the reasons is it's like so permanent, right? Like you're not going to be erasing no ink. No, not real ink. You're not erasing that. Once it's down, it's down. So you had to like develop a really steady hand and a lot of confidence. Because if you hesitate too much, you're going to make a blob on the page, or you're going to spill something and make a mess. Big mess. So when it came to like eyes, oh my god. The work that I've seen, when you really look at a manga page and look at the eyes of the characters, they're a lot of the time they're drawn in like one single stroke. It's, I mean like the, you know, the top eyelid or the bottom eyelid is like all one single stroke. So you have to get the curve of it right, and the perfect amount of line thickness, thin to thick, and then tapering back to thin again at the end at the right angle. It's just, you just got to develop that confidence. Because if you don't do that confidently, if you don't do that quickly, you 1000% are gonna mess that up. You cannot draw a manga eye slowly. It's got to be in one swift stroke. And that is super tense, especially because there's no takebacks, folks. You mess it up, you do it all again. Or rather, when there is undesirable ink on the page, you just kind of have to work around it. And there's ways of doing that, like, you can use the... Oh, I guess we're done with this. You can use the nib of the G-pen to sort of like, I wish I could put my cursor over my own eye right now. If you look at my eyes, my top my eyelashes, I guess. You see like my eyelashes at the very edge of my eyes. How you would do that is you would sort of like do little flicks in the wet ink of my eyelash, as you would just sort of kind of take the existing ink and kind of like flick it a tiny amount outwards. What? No, don't do that. Don't do that. That person's gonna get an eye infection. I said flick, not lick. Freaking heck. Oh gosh, I guess we're done with this. Oh, purple? Shapes can be filled with color. Okay. Yeah, dude. That's the one downside. That's the one downside to working with, oh, it's created by shit by closing a space. The one downside of using real ink and a G-pen in order to ink things is that once you've done it, you're not going to want to use anything else ever. Like, nothing else comes close. It's a pity I can't do pixel art with, with real ink. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. No. Hang on. Do I have more shapes at my disposal? You, come here. Come down. I want to see if there's more shapes. It won't come down. Wait, huh? Whoa. How am I... But... I can make a square and I can make it filled by doing that, right? I can do this, but there's no triangle here. And I can't drag it down. Okay. I guess I'm doing this manually? Question mark? Okay. Oh, no. Just go back to the regular brush. But yeah, if I wanted to go back to Blender, I would need to, like, relearn it. Not entirely from scratch, but mostly from scratch. Because I've forgotten everything. Solid shapes can be combined to create complex shapes. Ah. And this time I probably want to pay more attention to the more, like, practical advice. So that when the time comes for me to pass my work to a rigger, then, they will actually be able to work with my model that I produced. Although I'm not using Blender at the moment. In my very poorly kept secret project, I'm not using Blender, I'm using a different application. By using multiple colors, we can create shapes for each part of an object. Is this kind of... Now let's use our shapes. No. Hang on. That's not right. So we want to take white, I guess. I gotta do more testing with my art setup here, though. Oh, I should have done the filled version. I probably want to just grab my other, like, drawing tablet and see if it's any more reliable on Linux than the tablet display I'm using at the moment. I think that's a disadvantage of using Linux for sure, is I'm not as, like, purchase happy anymore when it comes to stuff on Amazon, because there's always the question at the back of the mind, does this even work on Linux? Am I going to buy this and it's not even going to work? Outlines can also use different colors. Unitas, welcome! We're doing a bit of pixel art, how to draw pixel art learning, and also talking about various kind of past and present and future creative projects that Rookie might be involving himself in. There are secrets. You didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear nothing. And if you bring it up, I'm gonna deny it. Pixlar is sick. You are right. You are right. You know what else is sick? You know what else is sick? Low poly modeling. Low poly modeling is also sick. I love the low poly aesthetic. And my little project is going to be combining those two concepts. We're going to have low poly models and sprite arts. Yeah. Your next little brother is gonna be... That should be red, shouldn't it? Yeah, your next little bro is gonna probably be lower poly than I am. Thank you. I mean, like, I don't even know. I don't even know, like, I couldn't even throw out, like, the scope of how long that would take. Because, genuinely, I got no idea. Wait. You want that part to be white? Okay, I thought I was curling that part in red. Okay. But yeah, that's gonna take a while for sure. Now this part should be... Is that black? No, it's like... dark blue? Like here? Oh, there we go. But yeah, that is part of the reason why I wanna normalize doing art on Little Bro stream, because then maybe I can share part of the process, share my efforts to make this thing. Where am I? Oh, I'm not done. I got to use gray here. I didn't see that part. But yeah. There is a reason why I'm not using Blender. Drawing basic shapes is, you know, lighter color can serve as a placement guide. Yeah, construction lines, that's what you mean, right? I've used construction lines before. Holy heck, okay. Well, what's the other piece of miscellaneous fauna that we have here? We got big tree, or we got shrubbery and small tree. Okay, we'll go with big tree. Use blue to roughly mark where the bigger parts of the object are placed in the image. Blender is a great program, and I love and I respect the Blender project. I'm not sure it's a great match for this, though. At least I think it would take a lot more time to do. Because when it comes to, like, okay, let me just start with the aesthetic that I'm going for, okay? Let me tell you what the aesthetic I'm going for is. Nintendo DS games. Like the 3D ones. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Did any of you guys play, like, some of those 3D Nintendo DS games, like Kingdom Hearts, 358 over 2 days, or Solo to Robo that we played a little while ago. We played Solo to Robo. It had a very specific style to it. Like that low poly look, and also like texturing the low polys with sprites. Right? That's how they did it. That's how they did it on the DS. That's how they got models, 3D models into the game. We make them low poly and then we put the sprites on them as textures. And that's the aesthetic we're going for. That's what I want to do. Is I want to have low poly model and map sprites to it, basically. It's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of how also old JRPGs. I could cite an example. My favorite game, Tales of Symphonia. I'm sure there's plenty other examples of this. But if you want to imagine one of those older, maybe even PlayStation as well, older like 3D graphics RPGs, and how they would handle like mouth movement and stuff, right? I'm still not doing this correctly. Why is that not... I gotta start it from up here? That's closer, I think. The way they would handle lip movement in those games is, well, they wouldn't. They wouldn't, right? What they would do is they would have, instead of like, my lips are moving right now, instead of having that, they would have, Rookie's mouth is closed as a graphic, right? And then they would have like Rookie is smiling graphic, and Rookie is smiling with mouth open graphic, Rookie is showing his teeth graphic, and then they would sort of like switch between the graphics during the dialogue as necessary, and they would do it like, I suppose, faster for like imitating lip syncing and stuff. But yeah, that's how my mouth is gonna work in the new model. Is we're gonna have, I mean, this model uses blend shapes. Dude, we're getting really technical here, huh? We're getting into the real technical stuff. I guess I could talk about this model. You guys already know that, I know the guy that made this model. And, it was originally like a VR chat, a VR chat, character. You can still be me in VR chat. And there's like a free version of that avatar and, paid version of that avatar. And the creator of this model has been super accommodating with me using this as like a VTuber model. He's the sweetest and I appreciate him. And I kind of had to like adapt it a little bit so it worked in the way that I would like it. This is back when it worked, okay? It doesn't work no more. My stream is mostly functional, well, mostly non-functional, let's be honest. The point is my stream is semi-functional, okay? Let's not get into particulars. But I use a thing called blend shapes. Blend shapes are to handle expressions typically, but I use them also for customization. You remember when you used to be able to change my clothing or like my colors? I would use blend shapes as a way to tell the program change colors, okay? Because normally blend shapes are for like changing expressions. Like my mouth is using blend shapes, probably, And every part of me that moves is also using blend shapes, but I was also using it for colors and textures. Because, for whatever reason, that seemed to make the most sense to me. And, yeah, we're gonna be using blend shapes as a way to handle my mouths as well when we're using individual graphics for my mouth. Not that that really matters. I don't suppose that really matters, but you know, it's something to talk about. But yeah, I am already thinking about how it's gonna work, basically, I suppose is the purposes of that entire tangent. I am thinking about how it's gonna work. And that's about as far as it's gone. I haven't gone any farther than that. Well, I suppose I have been trying the new application, because the new application, or the new program that's not Blender, I know I'm being vague, I know. Use the black to draw the final shape of the object, okay. It's kind of designed for low poly modeling, and for the use of sprites as textures, so... Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I would do, with traditional drawing, is you would have your construction lines down. This representing them in blue, I would actually usually use blue myself. I think, a traditional construction pencil is in blue, actually. If you want to buy a construction pencil, online, I think it would be in blue. I think that's why I got the idea of, using blue for construction lines, but yeah, it's just a way of planning things before you commit to it. Obviously, in a regular sketch, I would just use whatever regular pencil it is and then ink over the top of it and then erase it later. That's when it becomes important about the kind of ink that you're using, because some inks are erasable and others aren't. Back when I used, I did like a whole bunch of manga stuff, I could have told you all the different kinds of ink from one specific company and what their advantages and disadvantages were. I could tell you which ink was the blackest, I could tell you which ink was waterproofest, I could tell which one was functionally erase proof, and which one is good for archival purposes, because it lasts like freaking centuries. But yeah, inking stuff is awesome. Dude, I had like... This is how you know that I was a real nerd for this stuff, okay? Like... I remember like drawing... I think it was a picture of like either a Mori or a character from Fuga, and just like doing the lines in this new ink that I got, and I wasn't impressed when I put the lines down, but then I got my markers out and I got my monochrome markers and I did like the shading. Because that's what I would do. I would do it in like proper ink, and then I would get my monochrome markers out and I would do the shading. I had a very dark gray for like the super dark areas. And I was thinking to myself, oh geez, I don't know even if the black ink that I put down is even going to show through, because this area is very dark. But in fact, I was putting down black ink on the markers, right? Like straight up black on like the darkest area, and I'm like, well, what's the point of the line work there? You're not even going to be able to see it. And dude, the way that it, like, the marker dried and the real ink, the real traditional ink just kind of like shimmered through, all like metallic and glossy and stuff. Yeah, I'm talking like a real nerd right now. It's my stream. I get to geek out every now and then, okay? You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Like, the difference between the two inks was like night and day. It's like, here's your garbage marker ink. Here's the real stuff. This is what black looks like on the page. Yeah, like, dude, I'm passionate about it. I love it. I love it. I would love if part of my workflow could includes traditional inking. I would love that. I'm still kind of trying to figure out like how I can weave my interests / skills into the workflow for making this model. I love the low poly stuff, I love the pixel art stuff, I love the inking stuff. But how am I gonna weave that into some kind of cohesive project that makes sense? I was looking at, I was examining some models from Tales of Symphonia, because they use like a similar style where it's low poly and it's like sprite work, the textures basically. But if you examine it, it's like clearly what they did is that they took the concept art and they hand drew like the eyes and the mouths, the facial characteristics of these JRPG characters. They would hand draw them, and then they would scan them in, and then they would compress them so it turns into a bit of like a fuzzy sprite, right? So it's like they made like all the character details are hand drawn, but they had to compress it down and it becomes like a fuzzy sprite. I could tell just by looking at it, like that's what they did. It's not sprite work, it started as traditional art, it was clear to me. It was obvious that someone had drawn that with like traditional mangaka techniques and then like shrunk it down in Photoshop, right? Well, maybe not exactly like that, but they only had it was obviously by necessity, because in old JRPGs with 3D graphics, they would only have a certain like resource limit or budget. Yeah, you gotta make your character in this amount of pixels. You got to use this amount of polygons. No more, no less. And that can be very restrictive. I guess that's part of the reason why I didn't vibe with that style of creating in Blender, is because it is kind of restrictive to have all these rules. If you want to make a practical model that's going to be any more than a statue, then you gotta behave yourself, right? I did receive a little bit of formal education when it comes to modeling. And the guy that was teaching me, I kind of upset him. I remember distinctly that I kind of upset him. On one particular day. I was feeling zesty, okay? I was feeling super zesty based on what I said to him. I basically questioned 3D modeling as an art form in his class about 3D modeling. I said to him something like, you know, 3D modeling, it's less about art, it's more about woodwork. Or something like that. I said, it's not sculpture, it's not art, it's woodwork. And what I meant by that was it's really quite a calculated thing. It's like, I'm going to take this vertex and I'm going to move it 1 millimeter along the x-axis and 3 millimeters along the z-axis. Okay, that's correct. And there's a correct answer, there's an incorrect answer. You got to account for all these rules. It's woodwork. It's woodwork. There's a certain amount of expression to it, but you're so constricted by, and even like the process of it, even like the process of like dragging freaking vertices around, it's not a, it doesn't feel artistic to me. If you're holding a piece of like clay in your hands, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not standing by what I said. What I said was rude. I was being rude. And I don't like fully stand by what I said. But if you're holding clay in your hands and you're shaping it with your fingers, like every little movement that you do is like, it's an expression of the art that you're trying to make, the idea you're trying to make. That's art. But it's different. It's different when you're in a 3D program because you're clicking on a pixel and you're moving it over there, and you're clicking on a pixel and you're moving it over there, and it's like, it's so meticulous, it's so calculated, it's like mathematics. It just it doesn't sit right with me. To this day, it doesn't sit right with me how, like, inexpressive 3D, modeling is. And I don't mean, don't get me wrong, like, Big Brother Mao models things. There are sculpting tools in Blender, I think. You are right. You are right. It's, I think there are better ones. Like, the names escape me. Dude, I can't remember the name of it. There's a really popular 3D sculpting method. It comes with a lot of disadvantages, though. Mostly in the form of, well, the same problem that I had with my model, is that you end up with a lot of polygons and suboptimal topology. So you're gonna be able to create exactly the way you want to, but you're also gonna be making a lot of like suboptimal mistakes that are gonna bite you in the butt later when it comes to like rigging and stuff. So I think professionals that use the sculpture tools, they kind of use it sparingly, and they kind of like have to correct things, right? They kind of have to like sculpt a little bit and then move in to correct things, and like alternate would be the approach of someone who like does like organic modeling professionally. Yeah, they probably like jump between the two different ways of doing it just so that it looks nice and it looks authentic, but it also is functional. I could, ironically, I could never get the hang of that either, like the sculpture part. It's, I don't know, it didn't fully click with me. That's the thing with me. Nothing ever fully clicks with me. I end up being a jack of all trades, guys, because I never stick to one discipline long enough. I want to try something else. I can't stick with something for too long because I get bored and I want to do something else. There was a time where I tried to make music. That was probably one of the least successful ones, though, if I'm honest. I still got like the MIDI equipment, the pads and the keyboards from when I was trying to learn how to make music with literally no music theory. I don't know a single thing about music theory, which is probably part of the problem, right? There's my tree, by the way. Yeah, I don't know a freaking thing about music, but I wanted to make it. I love music. Well, let's say I that's not fair. I'm the guy that plugs his ears whenever he goes into any freaking public space and there's music playing. I hate the fact that everywhere you go in the real world is freaking pumping the radio. It's annoying. Basic music theory is easy. I guess I wouldn't know. I've never really tried to learn it. But yeah, I was using Sunvox at the time. Your favorite song is Joe Cage's 433? Yeah? I'm really excited about that one. I guess you press caps lock by accident. I mostly like video game music and soundtracks and stuff. Now we're getting into characters. Now this is all right. Nah. Now we're talking, okay? Now we're talking. We're talking about character design. There we go. We're going with the humanoid one. I'm a humanoid. But yeah. The thing was, I kind of bounced off of music. Video game composers. Not as such. Not as such. I don't really remember. I more like remember the games that the music is from. Like I got a playlist of like hundreds of video game music songs, and like for the first, if I listen to like the first 2-3 seconds of any of those hundreds of tracks, I could tell you which game it's from, because I've listened to that playlist so much. I couldn't tell you who wrote each one though. But yeah, there's a program called Sunvox. I could even like, I gotta think about like what my favorite music track is. I used to like my Innermost Apocalypse from the Binding of Isaac. But that's from the original The Binding of Isaac. My Innermost Apocalypse is a good one. This song from, this is probably even better, is the one that's from Downpour. I don't remember. I'm not aware of what that track's called, but the one that plays during the Downpour level is, oh my god, so good. I've gushed about that song like multiple times on this. Yeah, it's got a great soundtrack, doesn't it? Sonic games are like, they're a safe bet too. Like, I don't think there's a single Sonic game that doesn't have a banger soundtrack. Let's be real. So this sphere, is this his tummy? Or is this his head? Are we just doing Mickey Mouse? This could be his head if we're just doing Mickey Mouse. Okay, where does this start? Okay, it's a little bit farther over than that. So here. Ah, dude, like Castlevania has some bangers too. Like, it's shocking. It's genuinely shocking how good some of the DS Castlevania tracks are. Like, just straight bangers. So many of them, it's kind of ludicrous. I can hear even like the NES music. I can already hear like the clock tower music, you know? So much of that music is so masterfully made. And fits the mood of the game so well. Honestly, I gotta... Oh, Omori, has quite a lot of notable tracks as well, right? Yeah, yeah. I've listened to Omori soundtrack quite a lot too. I think we all know that the boss themes in that game certainly are freaking bangers. But yeah, the program I used was a program called Sunvox, which is another thing that I super familiarized myself with, and then like eventually just lost interest in it. And it's probably the one discipline where I have the least to show for myself. I made one beat that was an absolute banger. Okay? It was an absolute banger. It was a short loop. It's the kind of thing that you would put on a pad. And yeah, I consider it a banger, but it's only a sample of like, I think it was only like 2-3 seconds long. But it was, those 2-3 seconds was unforgettable, okay? It went like, wah, 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 wah. Like that. That's how it sounded. It sounded so sassy. It was a very sassy pad, music thing, okay? That was it, okay? I mean, I did make a few full tracks. I did make a few full tracks, but nothing that I would call a banger. And, I bounced off of it for the same reason I bounced off of, writing. Because writing was also something I tried. I did do some fan fictions. Who hasn't, though? Who hasn't done fan fictions? But, yeah, when it comes to, like, writing, you cannot do writing and listen to things at the same time. Because normally, when I'm producing art and stuff, I'd just be chilling and listening to, gee, I don't know, like, one-shot soundtrack. You know, just have the one-shot soundtrack on in the background. And just chill. And zone out. But when it comes to, like, writing or producing music, you have to focus. If you're listening to music, well, I can't do that. I can't listen to music and also type words at the same time, because you gotta think about what you're doing. And it's the same for... Well, I mean, obviously when you're producing music, you can't listen to music, because that would be impossible, right? And it takes a long time. Like, I would do the music equivalent of sketching. That it kind of feels like sketching to me. It's a whole lot less intuitive for me than like drawing sketching, but it's the same kind of idea. You're just sort of like choosing different instruments and samples and pads and forming your palette. Okay, you would get your palette, and instead of putting colors in your palette, you're putting pads on your palette. This is what I'm doing on Sunvox. I'm arranging my keyboard and my pads to have the sounds that I want to have in the song. And then once I have all of the sounds I want, I would, you know, start playing with the pads, start playing with the keys, and sketch it out, get some ideas down, see what sounds good. And really, because I'm not a musical person, I don't consider myself a musical person, it was a difficult process. And you would you would feel, or rather I would feel, discouraged easily. Because it feels like you're just kind of like grasping in the dark for something. Because you don't have that experience, you don't have... Like, when I'm sketching something, I know that I'm gonna eventually make something good if I work hard enough at it. You know what I mean? Like, it's inevitable if you work on a piece of art, and like a drawn piece of art, that you're gonna end up with something to be proud of if you just work hard at it. And if you completely mess it up, you can start again. And eventually, you'll make a better version. And every time you start again, you're gonna start again and again and again. If you keep doing it, it's just gonna keep getting better until you're truly satisfied with it. It feels inevitable. It feels inevitable that you're gonna improve. Right? But with my lack of experience with music, I just felt like I was stumbling around in the dark. And I never really got comfortable making music because it just didn't feel like I was guaranteed to have something that was even listenable. Right? And sometimes it would work and other times it wouldn't, and because I don't have no music theory, then, oh, this is his nose. Because I don't have any music theory experience, why are those lines not being filled in? I've just been... I don't think I'm paying close enough attention because not all of these lines are... Okay. The black squares disappeared. I'm not gonna leave, like, the line broken. Why would I do that? But yeah, sometimes it would work and other times it wouldn't, and I wouldn't know why, because I didn't know the experience. I didn't have the experience to actually be able to tell myself why this works and why this doesn't work. Okay. So that meant it would take longer, and I would spend longer being in a situation where I'm creating and not able to, listen to music, and that combination of just working on a track for like 6 hours and not having something listenable and not knowing why, not knowing how to improve it was probably why I quit, right? I guess that's why you want to learn music theory, because then you understand why. You understand what went wrong. You can do a bit of forensics and go back and, you know, like your programming. Most of programming is forensics and seeing what went wrong and why. But yeah, I just didn't have that skill set. Like, why is this one highlighted and this one isn't? Do you really want me to break the line up here? I'm gonna try it. You really don't want me to draw these parts. I'm not sure why that is. But I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Like, why would you leave that broken? And that's the thing too, like, guys, I want to get back into music. Like, I do want to get back into music. It's really not practical for me to do that because there's just, like I said before, there's just too many things. I want to do pixel art, I want to do traditional drawing, I want to do traditional inking, I want to do a bit of modeling. I want to do streaming? And I want to do, music as well? Like, it's just not possible, guys. You can't do everything. You can't be a jack of all trades because, as I say, like, life is too short. Like, there's just not enough time to do all these things. As much as I'd like to. You can't be a master at everything. You can't even be proficient at everything. And that's probably my main shortcoming is I can't freaking pick. I'm so indecisive. I can't freaking pick one. So I guess what I'm doing with this project is I'm doing something which involves several of my interests or talents, and hoping that because it involves several of them, that it's going to hold my interest for longer. And then I'll be less inclined to get bored because it's tickling different aspects of my creative soul, I guess. That's the hope, at least. I don't even want to put a square in there. It's gonna look dumb. Hopefully that's okay with you, game. I don't want to make this part too dark, so I'm not gonna put one in there. Don't make me do that. You're gonna make me do that, aren't you? You're gonna make me put a square here, aren't you? Fine, I'm moving this then. Because that's gonna look dumb. But, no, I don't want these squares touching. I don't want these squares touching. What if... Okay. Alright, game. How about if I do this? Are you happy with that? Okay, it's happy with that. Mickey Mouse. Huh. Are we getting there? Are we just doing his head? I'm starting to think that we're just doing his head here. I just gotta get rid of these, blue construction lines here. Sir? Oh, wait a minute. I know what's happening here. I know why it's asking me. Okay, that's a bit of a... I want to say that's a bug. Yeah, I want to say that's a bug because... It wants there to be a square there, but it's counting the construction lines as like satisfactory. Even though they shouldn't be there, it's like counting them. I don't think I should be doing that. I'm not sure I fully understand this. Like, if I remove these construction lines, is it going to say, no, no, no? No, okay. I guess some of them are legitimately... Yeah, see that one there? That one there was completing the drawing somehow, even though it shouldn't be there. Okay. We just gotta clean this up. I mean, this is probably not a very easy thing to program, if I had to guess. So, and it is early access again, so... we can forgive a little bit of, scuffness. So I gotta think about, like, what direction I want to take this in. Like, what my next steps are. Certainly, I'd like to do maybe some more art on stream. Maybe some stuff that's more relevant to my project. Okay, so what's wrong with this picture? Oh no, it's finished. It's finished actually. Okay. Okay, that's not a bad rendition of one Mickey Mouse. Learn shape language. Okay. Jaggies. In the drawing app, complete the pixel art line tutorial to learn about Jaggies. Learn what characteristics basic shapes convey. Okay. Have fun watching Little Bros draw stuff. Thank you. I'm really glad you guys at least find this in some way entertaining. It's challenging for me because you know, you get different kinds of streamers for sure. What the artist intends to draw and what the viewer perceives doesn't always match with what is actually on the canvas. Intended and perceived lines. Like there are streamers who are all about like skill, right? Like there's streamers who are skill first, and they are like speedrunners and stuff, and that's why people tune in for them. And then there's people who have like anecdotes and stuff. They talk about real life while they're playing video games. There's people who provide relevant commentary to the video game, which is probably more like my speed, is because like my commentary mostly consists of like reading the dialogue and making light commentary on what's happening in the video game. That's typically the kind of streamer that I am. My anecdotal stuff is a whole lot less compelling. However, because of how the pixels are connected, the viewer still perceives the result. Oh, I should have been reading these. Perceives the result as a diagonal or a curve. So the blue line represents what we're perceiving. I see. Okay, cool. Interesting. This is kind of showing you the relationship between graphic bitmaps and vector lines, because the blue line is a vector line. It's attempting to form a path using coordinates, and you know, these are the literal pixels. Yes, it's behaving like a vector line. What is on the canvas? What the artist wants to communicate. I see. Yeah, like these are paths. In like a vector program, you would call these paths, because a path is a basic unit of a vector. Well, I suppose you know, a vertex is also an even more basic one. Like the vertex is where a shape starts or ends, or where a path starts or ends. So vertex, and the path between is what the vector graphic software is remembering and describing and recording. Perceived lines, the intended perception that we want to produce is this. However, because of how the pixels are connected, the viewer still perceives the result as a diagonal or a curve. I mean, cool, but aren't we doing the next part? Aren't we doing the next part? Or wait, no, are we done? Yeah, we're done. We're done. Okay. That's just to illustrate the point. I see. Okay. But yeah, I do gotta think about what the next steps are. I know what I need to do is I have to refresh my memory about like manga drawing in general. Learn about the main stylistic characteristics of pixel art. Because like proportions and stuff are super important to me. I gotta figure out how to proportion my characters properly. I don't want to get too buried in the details and stuff, but that kind of stuff still applies to like pixel art, so I gotta at least refresh myself a little bit. The thing that I struggle with the most when it comes to like characters, many things in your drawings will align with the grid. Pixels can perfectly match such shapes. Is character design, which is a super unfortunate thing when it comes to designing characters. Is, you know, I mean, I'm lucky enough that I didn't need to design a character because the creator of this model was super happy to let me use it, but I'm gonna have to learn character design eventually. Diagonals and curves. What should be straight and smooth appears jagged, spiky, and sharp. These stare-like deformations, unintended jagged edges are called jaggies and contribute to the blocky appearance of pixel art. Right. The intended perception and the approximation, the jaggies. Close enough, right? Pixel art. You gotta, that's another thing. You have to kind of like decide what resolution you want to work with, because if this was like slightly higher resolution, it would resemble the intended shape a lot more. I gotta design that stuff. I gotta strike a balance between the pixel art aesthetic and also looking, you know, cute, I guess. You know, cute. Organic, alive, humanoid in appearance, living. I don't know. Green. What is the green? Oh. Not a jaggy, sharp corner. Oh, you're pointing to this part? Okay. Jaggies on the curve? Right, okay, so these parts are the jaggies, gotcha. Jaggies diagonal? Mm-hmm. Not jaggies because they are actual stairs. Right. Gotcha. We're learning. Some jaggies are less desirable than others. See also anti-aliasing. It's the same concept as jaggies in the 3D modeling world. Or probably more like the game engine world. Pixel art lines are constructed out of multiple rows or columns of pixels that usually touch only in corners. Okay. Alright, that it's just I'm trying to internalize that, but yeah. I get you. You're saying something that is simple but sounds more complicated when you describe it in that way. But yeah, they touch mostly at the corners. Messed that up. When we draw lines freehand, we often unintentionally cross over multiple neighbors when the rows connect. And that means that we end up with like a line which is thicker in places where it shouldn't be. It just doesn't look as good. These unintended pixels are also referred to as doubles since we only need one of them for a minimal line. We remove one pixel in each of the doubles. Okay. Let's take a little off the top here to make it uniform. Doubles create jaggies in perceived lines, disrupting the smooth flow across the line art. Okay, I've never heard them called doubles before, but I can see why they would be a bad thing. They create jaggies in perceived lines, disrupting the smooth flow. Oh. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's a problem. Made a right, like nearly a right angle there. We gotta remove. We'll take a little off the top again. Even without doubles, certain patterns of line segments lead to jaggies in perceived lines. Pixel artists nowadays mostly use the term jaggies to describe these undesired pixels. Doesn't look like this will contain any. This looks like a pretty straightforward curve, right? We're on 3, we're on 2, we're going 2 this way. It's gonna translate into a bit of a weird bump. But if it's a bumpy hill or something, it's fine. Move the pixel to eliminate the problem. We will expand on this later, the tutorial on pixel art curves. So, you're saying that this is problematic, but you're not really explaining. I don't think you explained why it's problematic. So why is this better? Why is putting it here better? This. We got 3 here, we got 2 here. Oh, I see. Because if we put this here, then we're on 1. Yeah, we're on 1. Like, I described this earlier, but in a different way. See, this is going from 4 to 3. And then this going from 3 to 2. And then going 2 on the other axis, which is too extreme of a change. You want to have, like, it to go on to 1 before it changes direction. We were talking about this earlier. So now we have it on 1. And then we put 2 in the other direction. And it looks a lot more natural. So it's kind of like some of these concepts are things that I kind of had an understanding of, but I didn't really learn it in the same way or use the same language as is being used here. Similarly, unwanted jaggies can disrupt the flow of diagonal lines. Is this guy? Are you saying that this guy is a jaggy? The doubles here? Yeah, it's kind of like dented. Does look kind of dented. So you're gonna make this a full 45-degree line then? I mean, that's just gonna end up being a straight line though, then. It's not even a curve anymore. Move the pixels here as well. You will get a different line, but artists often adjust angles to make lines with ideal jaggies. This will be explored in the tutorial on diagonals. Okay. You want to adjust angles to make lines with ideal jaggies. Okay. So we're making a sacrifice. Sacrificing the intended curve. Oh no, I did that wrong. We're ending up with a diagonal line like that. Yeah, that's pretty far from the original vision. The original vision was a curve and it became a diagonal line, but I guess sacrifices have to be made, huh? Don't be precious with your work. That's one thing that I was taught in that course for sure. Practice cleaning up doubles and corners. I'm gonna have to use my brain for this one, I think. Undesirable doubles are an issue when drawing lines freehand. For this lesson, draw the curve with a single freehand stroke. Oh gosh, this is gonna make a mess. This is going to be really technical as well. Unless it really holds my hand. You can now open the pixel art evaluation paper in the bottom right corner to get an analysis of your line. Pixel perfect lines. Lines are considered pixel perfect when they don't have any doubles or other corners. Click on the pixel perfect lines criterion below to see the individual problems. Doubles. In this detailed view, you can hover over the numbers in the count column to show just those pixels in the analysis. Right now you have no corners, so this is not useful, but it will be later. Close the evaluation paper and eliminate all doubles. So you don't want to have like these neighbors that are touching more than corner. Okay. Close. Go away. I got an F. Dude! Chill, I'm learning. Okay, let's remove those doubles. Okay, let's get rid of the inside of the line here. I'm gonna remove the inside here as well. No, that's fine. These parts can go. This part can go. This part just isn't accurate. Hang on. No. Remove these parts. I'm gonna keep it nice and accurate. There we go. Great job! Pixel art software often includes a pixel perfect option for the pencil, which avoids the creation of doubles and sharp corners, but it is important to know how to clean a line by hand too. Whoa! 100% pixel perfect! Woo! Alright, we cleaned up a line so it looks good, and pixel perfect. Sharp edges can be used intentionally. We're making a star. Add a black outline outside of the star by following the rules discussed so far. Use rows and columns of pixels that touch only in corners. So we're talking about diagonal lines here, right? But we can't do that here. No, maybe we can. Maybe we can. Hang on. This is going to take a little bit of figuring out. Right, if I do like... Hang on. No. If I do like this... And then like that... Right. What? You don't want me to do that? I can't put it here because that makes use rows and columns of pixels that touch only in corners. Well, that's not gonna work here, is it? I wanted to like put it here so that it's not touching that, but I don't even know if that's possible. Maybe the lesson is being miscommunicated. Like these diagonal parts, we can do these ones. And I can do like this. But these are going to be touching like doubles, but I guess it doesn't matter in this context, right? Like that's not an incorrect way of drawing the star. I think this follows the fundamentals of the lesson. Using these rules leads to rounded corners, which is great if you're after a softer look. However, if sharp corners are desired, using a more spiky line art is okay. Oh, like filling in the part to emphasize the edge of it. And doing the same with the little star feet here. Okay. This guy's gonna end up looking spikier. Even though they're only 90-degree angles, it ends up looking sharper. Yeah, that's a dramatic difference, actually. 96%? The definition of pixel perfect lines doesn't allow for corners, so they're highlighted as an error. However, the evaluation doesn't understand the context. Open the pixel perfect lines breakdown to continue. Potential problem. Don't worry about corners that are intentional. You can even turn individual criteria off completely. Do that now by removing the check mark next to the corner criterion. That's interesting. That's interesting. Like, that kind of reminds me of the rule with tries. Or like polygons with more than 4 vertices as well. Like in like 3D modeling, one of the most well-known rules is just use quads, just use squares in general. Because you're gonna introduce like shading problems and rigging problems. The more tries or multi-sided shapes you have in there, it's just a bad idea generally. Tries have 3 vertices, and anything more than 4 vertices is... I don't remember, there's a word for it. But you don't want to use them, you don't want to do that. It's... We're getting into the topology stuff again, but it just reminds me of that. Where you're still allowed to use tries, like tries are acceptable, and even having ones with more than 4 are acceptable, but sparingly and with purpose. Just why it reminded me of that. Only use the evaluation as a tool to double check your work. And don't follow it blindly. It makes mistakes and doesn't know your intentions, so take its score with a grain of salt. Sure. Great. I guess we're done? Learn about the line width in pixel art. Oh my goodness, there's more to this than I thought there were. I'm starting to think maybe we do some more of this next time. Or whatever, we'll see. I think maybe that's enough for the moment though. So, thank you all very much for joining me. For learning the pixel art stuff, and I'll see y'all real soon. Bye guys. Take care.